you want to count the cost to love. That the cost to love will take a toll on you becoming a more responsible person. Just like they say, drink responsibly, you can love responsibly or irresponsibly. With love, it's not something you come to toy with somebody's heart. You are dealing with a real human being. Question: am I looking for someone to love, or am I looking for someone to make me feel loved? If I'm kind to my partner, they're going to take me for granted. But you're kind to everybody outside, and when you come home, you become a lion. You're not even the Lion of Judah. We are drawn to love. We are drawn to intimacy. We are drawn to want love. We are drawn to crave love. Some people want to reap the benefit of intimacy without paying the full price for which they could cultivate that intimacy. What if the reason your relationships keep failing is not because you chose the wrong person, but because culture sold to you a counterfeit version of love? Godly Conversations. Welcome to Godly Conversations podcast. I am your host, Wem. This is a brand new episode. In Godly Conversations, we believe that conversations brings transformation. And if this is your first time listening or watching, evil communication corrupts good manners. And that is the basis for me to believe that Godly Conversations will enhance good manners to transform someone. And today's conversation is one of those that I believe is going to transform your life. I've been on some thoughts about a lot of things because I have conversations for life. And in the midst of having conversations upon conversations, my heart has been burdened by the thought about love and what the culture presents. And in thinking about that, as someone that sees life through a biblical lens, I thought about speaking on it and bringing a fresh perspective. I believe what I'm going to share today is something you've not heard. Yeah, you've heard a variation of it, but not like this. I want to talk about specifically relationship love and dating love, not the love of God. Of course, that is part of what makes us able to be people that can love or can even experience love. Let me start by asking you, what if the reason your relationships keep failing is not because you chose the wrong person, but because culture sold to you a counterfeit version of love? And all of us have been sold a version of love from where you come from. And when we talk about culture, you recognize that where you come from, your family, your upbringing is culture to you and for you. Your parents and their marriage is culture to you and for you. So culture generally can be through movies and TikTok, whichever place you're learning about love. We have to see it from this different perspective to know what version of love was sold to me. Because if you do not dissect that, you may now have problem with love and forget that love may not actually be the problem, but your definition of love could be a problem, or your interpretation of love could be a problem, or the misrepresentation of love could be a problem. Also, the other English that I'm going to speak on this is that the projections about love could also be a problem, because there's a lot of projections about love that is not really love, but there are things that disguise as love and we may not really know. And I don't want to be very vague today. I want to be direct and hit at the main points that I'm going to. Question someone could ask is that, is love enough? And I've heard a lot of people talk around that and talk about that love is not enough. My view about that is, I would say yes and no to that question. Is love enough or love is not enough? Yes and no. Yes on the aspect of when someone says love is not enough, I think I understand what they mean. Because they have gotten into relationships and been into partnerships with people, situationships even, and then they discover that they love someone, and probably in the course of them loving each other or having this exchange of love and this energy and feeling this chemistry and everything, the thing doesn't still work. Nothing works out. They ended up hurting each other even more than they loved each other. So at that point, someone can say love is not enough. I agree with you. And there are people that have been married for years and still marrying from generations past and even current generation, who started it on the basis of what they felt like was a very strong, compelling nature of love. They were very compelled towards each other. And after a certain measure of time, they start feeling apart from each other. So it's almost like I've fallen out of love with my partner. And when they get to that place, the question now comes up, love is not enough. Because now there are so many other things that they feel they need to make the relationship work beyond love. And why I said no, that love is enough, is what I'm going to talk about today. When that person accepted that love is not enough, I agree with them because of the version of love they had. The version of love, of what they felt, of love as a feeling, is not enough. The version of love that was given to them as something to receive from someone, not something to give, is not enough. The version of love that was propagated or taught or preached or experienced was not enough. Now, I say no because I'm going to lead you into something that is going to unveil to you what I call the holistic nature of love in relationships. And when I came to this revelation, because I call it a revelation, it really became a transforming thing for my mind that is still transforming my mind, because I've come from experience of culture from my home of how I saw love, and I don't think what my parents practice as love is enough to keep a healthy relationship. People can stay together for years and may not have a healthy relationship and a relationship that is working. So, in moving forward, love is enough if love is in its truest form. Love is enough if love is experienced in its rightful definition. But when we take a version of love that has been propagated or sold to us, which is counterfeit, and want to make it make something that a real love can make, it cannot work. Now, what is real love? That will be the question someone is asking. I'm going to lead you there because there are so many dynamics I want to break down into this episode that is going to help you keep listening. This is something I would love you to know, that the scripture says to us that God is love. And when I thought about that, I recognized that God then made us in his own image in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, which means we were made in the image of love, the image of God, which means we were made with love, for love, by love. And being made for love and being wired to love, we now crave love genuinely and naturally. We crave love. And when we experience love, whether you are on your TikTok, on your phone scrolling, and you see a love content that you see couple enjoying themselves, having intimacy, it feels so good. It feels so enjoyable. This is what I should experience. And also on the maladaptive side, adaptive side, someone that is addicted to maybe pornography or something, they still enjoy what they are looking at because it's still a form of love. But then it's actually a form of love that has been bastardized. Sorry to use that word. We are drawn to love. We are drawn to intimacy. We are drawn to want love. We are drawn to crave love. And that is why if you grow up from a place that you do not feel loved, it affects you from like within. If you grow up from a place that your parent didn't love you, you are craving love, you're seeking love in the things you do, whether through performing or doing whatever thing you do because you want people to see you, you want people to love you. Having said that, we need to get to a place of recognizing that when we crave love, it is not a bad thing. It is actually God-given. It's natural to crave love or to want love or to want to love or be loved. But then culture has distorted what love should be. And because of the distortion of love, we now pursue the distorted picture about love, and pursuing that we enter relationships expecting the relationship to satisfy our hunger for love, our deep craving for love, and those relationships eventually exposes the inadequacies of our definition. Then we conclude that love is not enough. Because what we feel is real. What we feel is true to us. But then when we get into relationship to satisfy this hunger, this craving, it now fails us. And then we pick it up and say, love is not enough. Let me move forward to tell you that there are three dynamics to love, and it's in the Greek language. The Greek language has three words that I want to delve into about love. And there is a fourth one, but I want to talk about these three ones in regard to dating, relationship, and marriage. So, there is the Eros, there is the Phileo, and there is the Agape. I know you may have come across those words before, and if you've not come across them, don't let it bother you. These words that the Greek language has, two of them has been expressly used in the New Testament. And I've mentioned here in this podcast before that the original language of the New Testament is Greek. It's written in Greek. So from the root word, when you study some of the word that the Bible calls love, you see either Phileo or philandros or anything that is connected to that Phileo, or you see the Agape or Capeo. So those are the words the scripture uses in the New Testament. And then this Eros actually makes sense for us to really dig into what we are talking about today too, which is that three words from this language that I need us to dig into, and I will connect it to why it's important to know these three words and to know its application in every single relationship. Because I will say a strong statement right now that every single solitary relationship needs these three love working hand in hand to have a healthy relationship. In order for a relationship to be healthy, these three love has to be expressed. These are not love languages. They are definitions of love. And they need to work hand in hand, not one against the other, hand in hand for a marriage to be a working marriage. And as a Christian, I'm still going to talk about where as a single Christian, yours should stop. So that you will not think I'm saying, oh, go ahead and then be all out there fornicating, because I'm not promoting that and I won't promote that. Question: am I looking for someone to love, or am I looking for someone to make me feel loved? Before I dig into these three languages, a lot of times, like I said, since we are created and being made to love, we crave love. Some people do not look for someone to love, to give love to. Some people look for someone to be loved by. And if every time we approach relationships, we approach it from that lens of looking for someone to love us. And sometimes some people even play a trick, a manipulation on someone of trying to love bomb someone. And what they're really looking for is to get that person to love them. Not because they really want to love the person. So now they come in, they put in their best, they chook their head into the place and try to love. And then this person now start loving them. And then they now start withdrawing. They now start withdrawing and receiving that love. That's an unhealthy love, an unhealthy definition of love, misrepresentation of love actually. We need to come to a place of representing love so that love could be seen in its healthy and wholesome way. And that is where I'm talking about these three words. The Eros is the word for attraction, chemistry, sensuality, appearance. And just to speak a little bit on that as I'm going to go forward because I have a lot of things to share with you on this very conversation. Many times, if you look at the media, if you look at TikTok, if you look at Instagram, if you look at everything, the movies, what they sell to us is Eros. Love as it applies to chemistry. Love as it applies to attraction. Love as it applies to appearance. Love as it applies to sensuality, feelings. Oh, the feeling kind of love. Those are what the culture has been selling us over time, over and over and over again. And to some people, this is all they know about love because that's what they see in their movies. That's what they hear in songs. That's what they feel in everything. So they make that the whole complex nature of love. But that is why love will not be enough if you stop there. If your definition of love is what this Eros has represented, you saw someone, you're attracted to this person, and then you now start having feelings, sensual feelings, chemistry. It's like, this is my person. Oh, your heart is jumping, your heart is beating. Oh, you're really feeling a kind of way. You feel so childish before this person. Anytime you talk with them, it's very sweet. And you look at the appearance. They have the appearance that meets up with the fantasy that is in your head of the kind of person they shape. Oh, look at their face. Oh, the way the guy's voice sounds. Oh, like my voice. But anyways, I'm joking. Oh, I love her voice. Her voice is very tiny and sweet. All of that. I have said before, if you start thinking, oh, godly conversations, why are you talking about this? I have mentioned here that we talk about everything. We have transparent and unfiltered conversations here because the aim is to reach real people and not to pretend like these things don't apply to our life. So I'm here to talk about real things that applies to real life. And if you're religious, you might actually just log off instead of being judgmental because you won't hear anything that I'm going to say. Thank you as I continue. So in Eros, which is what has been promoted and is still being promoted, which is what has been exalted and still being exalted as the representation of love, that alone becomes a misrepresentation of love if that is what they paint love to be alone. Now, Phileo is the word for affection, friendship, fondness, and relational attachment, which is to treat affectionately or kindly, to welcome someone, to befriend someone, to like someone, to approve of someone. In regard to this Phileo, which is very beautiful, it is the word for friendship, the friendly language of like, with my friends, I know how fondly I feel with my friends, how free I am with them. I like my friends. That's why they are my friends. I'm cool with my friends. That's why they are my friends. I enjoy my friends' company. That's why they are my friends. I feel affection towards my friends. I love them. That is why it's called Phileo. I love my friends. And all of that. I treat my friends kindly. That is what it is. And this is another concept of love that some people may be like, oh, I don't go for the attraction. I just, but what they try to explain is actually what Phileo is. Affection, heart affection and all of that. Important and very needed. So they go for this because the culture has been going after appearance, shape, this and that, my type, my spec, my specification of person. And then this person says, okay, I don't think I want to go for what the culture says. Let me go for, heart to heart connection. I want to connect with this person from their heart. I don't want to look at their body. Okay, chill a little bit. We are going to get there in summarizing all of this. Like I said, you need all of them working hand in hand in a dating and marriage relationship. Because as a Christian, I believe that if your dating should not just be to have illicit fun, but to move almost like a graduation to get married to that person. And if that is not the person you should marry to, actually check if that's who to marry. And if not, don't waste your time. You move. You step away. These three versions of love are needed to build a holistic and healthy relationship. The Eros and those relationships like I talk about is marriage. The Eros, the Phileo, and then the Agape. If you build these three things and walk into a relationship with it and learn to cultivate these three level of versions of love all together hand in hand, if you tell me that love is not enough, I don't think I will believe you. But if you only went in with Eros, which is properly conditional, because the day you lose your shape, I can't love you anymore. The day you're not who you used to present yourself as, I cannot love you anymore. The day your energy changes, I would also change my energy towards you because we are operating on a commodized kind of version of relationship. So I'm here for what I'm going to get. I'm not here to love you and give. And that is why with Eros alone, you see how lacking that love is. And even with Phileo alone, without being attracted to the person, you feel affection, you like the person. Oh, this is my friend. Oh, can I marry my friend? But I don't feel attracted to them. Then I don't think you want to go into that. Because as much as you can say attraction will be built, but if true and true, no attraction at all is there because you've looked at everything and no attraction, I wouldn't say you should go into that. But that's not a conversation for today. I'm trying to break down the different versions of love and see how to apply so that we can have this conversation broadly to talk about which love or which version of love is actually healthy, that we can say love is enough when we say one word, love. Now, I want to explain agape before I move forward to tell you what is on my mind right now. Agape is the sacrificial love, the brotherly love, benevolence, goodwill, to be well pleased, which is the kind of love that God loves us. The agape is the only love that is called unconditional. It doesn't need you to do anything. That's why the word benevolence is there. When you are just kind to people, because you're a kind person, you don't need them to be kind to you back. You're just kind. But then if you come down to Phileo, when I love my friend or I like my friend, I won't be friends with them if they don't like me too. The only reason we are friends is because it's almost transactional. Or it is transactional actually. Because if I keep loving this person and they don't love me, that's not friendship. I'm going to walk out of that friendship. So all other versions are transactional except agape. And why is this point important? Because you need to understand that all three versions of love are needed in a healthy marriage. And as someone that is a Christian that is dating, you should have that in mind. That you need all, but then you don't operate on Eros. You should just have it in mind that is needed, but don't operate on it. Because even Christians today operate on the Eros. Just go ahead, love someone because of their looks, their appearance, and what they are feeling towards the person, and how they want to eat the person up. Anyways, I already said what I said. And this is what came to mind, which I want to speak about it right now. When someone says to you, I love you, it could mean any of these three versions. And in our culture, most especially the African culture, when we talk about I love you to someone, where their head often goes is the Eros. Oh, are you attracted to me? Okay, you like the way I look? Okay. Oh, we have chemistry. You feel you like me more than just normal, like, so it's almost like if I tell you I love you, it's almost like, oh, so you like me now. Okay. You're attracted to me. Okay. Do you want a relationship with me? And because our version of love is not complete, that is why we always see I love you from that lens. And to another person who might be LD and get other versions of I love you because they have heard I love you and they know that you can be loved without sex being involved. Someone can tell you I love you and they genuinely mean what they say because they know how they feel and what they interpret as what they mean. They say, I love you. So now this person walks up to you and say, I love you. And without investigation, you don't ask what that is or what version that is, or you don't even investigate by their words and their communication, what version are they presenting? Is it the friendly love? Is it Phileo? Are they fondly with you? Are they affectionate with you, which is friendly love? Do they just like you, which should not be romanticized? Phileo should not be romanticized. Now, in scripture, John chapter 21, this is where you find Phileo. Jesus told Peter, do you agape me? Lovest thou me, Peter? That's in the King James Version. And Peter said to him, I phileo you. I love you. You know I love you. And the word he used there was phileo. Jesus was asking him, do you agape me? Do you love me unconditionally? And this was after Peter had professed that he would die with Jesus, he would do this and that, and then he denied him 3 times. After denying Jesus, now, after resurrection, Jesus met him and said to him, Peter, do you love me more than all of these disciples? Do you agape me unconditionally? Peter said, Lord, I love you as my friend. I have affection, deep affection towards you. And I like you. But to say I love you unconditionally, I don't have that ability right now to do that. And Jesus asked him 3 times. And the 3rd time, he went to his level and said, do you phileo me? And Peter said, I phileo you, know all things. If you read that scripture, if you're familiar with the Bible, you actually get what I'm saying. But then, Jesus knew that Peter only phileoed him, but doesn't love him unconditionally. And it is natural because as a human, your ability as a human can only phileo someone. You need God and the knowledge of God and a relationship with God to understand and operate on agape, which is you love someone out of deep kindness and benevolence. And if you don't have that knowledge of God, you cannot love someone that way. That is why when Paul talked about marriage in Ephesians 5, he brought in that word. He used the word agape. Husbands, agape your wife. He did not use the word phileo your wife. He said agape your wife. And he said, For he that agaped his wife, he that loved his wife, loved himself. And that was a sacrificial love. That was a benevolence kind of love. That was a kindness that has no strings. And then, as believers generally, I was talking about when someone says to you, I love you. When we should love each other, it's the word agape, because we have received love from God. So I should agape my sisters and my brothers in the Lord, genuinely agape them, because in today's culture, if I say to my brother, I agape you, because of how the word has been sexualized, it could mean something else, which is, I meet a brother of mine, I say, I love you, bro. And someone will look at me like, oh, it's something. But then that's the culture we live in, because love has been messed up. The ideology of it. And if I tell a sister openly before other people, oh, I love you, the next thing that applies to someone's head is, oh, did you people start something and you did not tell us? Should that even be what comes to your mind at first? But then I'm saying this to help someone, right? As a Christian, I know this is not what we actually talk about in our culture. I'm bringing this so that we can have this conversation. We can talk about it. As a young woman, someone comes to you and tells you, I love you. You need to investigate that and investigate what they mean. And even ask, what do you mean? Because if you don't ask what do you mean by I love you, you may not get to know the heart of it. Yeah, they might want to just, brush it off and all of that. But through the conversations you have with this person, you will get to know what love that is. If it's about your attraction, appearance, and sensuality, sexuality, eroticism, romanticism, or whateverism, if it's about that, you definitely get to know in the conversations you keep having with this person. And if it is beyond that, you also get to know. And if it is just friendship, friendly love, do not mistake it to be something else. Friendly love has this affection that comes with it. If you have a friend, you know that you love your friend. Like it's affectionate. So it's not bad for someone to love it that way. And then the agape, which is the benevolence of being kind, which is 1 Corinthians 13, talks about, I'm going to get there. And I would stop here by making you know that all these three are needed in any healthy marriage and any healthy relationship. And for someone that is dating, you need to be attracted to someone. That is my own point. I need to be attracted to you. You can't keep it aside. It's needed. I need to be okay with your appearance. I'm not totally judging you by your appearance, but I need to be okay with that. I need to look at you and like the way you look. Right? The chemistry is also a thing. Yeah, I need to see that we align to some level, but most times the chemistry is mostly tied to the fantasy we have in our head. Right? Secondly, I need to phileo you, like you as a friend. Because there's so many couples out there who don't like each other. So which means on the root of it, why they married each other was just because they had sexual fantasy towards each other. They erosed someone. They said to the partner, I love you. And all they meant was, I eros you. You look good. I want to get down with you. And before you know, it fades off because the new relationship energy and that honeymoon phase phases out, and then they get to another phase and they feel like I've fallen out of love with my wife or with my partner. You did not fall out of love with them. You did not have the right version of love. That's why you say you've fallen out of love with your partner. It's not that you fell out of love. You didn't have the right version. Because why don't you like this person? If they really were your friend, if you actually had phileo them, you would still love them because this is my friend. Come on now. And you'll be kind to your friend. You'll be generous to your friend. You, just like you are generous with your other friends. And you see that in some marriages, some partners are really, really kind to their friends outside. But to their partner, they become something else. They can't be kind to their partner. And then it begs the question that the version of love this person said they had in the beginning was faulty. If the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? So we can't keep building on a faulty foundation of love. We need to now get the foundation right so that the building will not crumble. Because if the foundation is not set right, when wind comes, when troubles of life comes, the house will fall down. And that is why I keep repeating here that every Christian relationship, it will not be perfect. Hear me clearly. It will not be, your love now has become perfect, but it will be healthy when you know that all these three are needed. You love this person the way they look. You love them as your friend. You just really, really like them. You like their company. You're fond with them. On the day that trouble comes, you guys will still stick together because this is my friend. And then you agape them, which is what builds the solid foundation for all the other ones. The agape and the phileo, in fact, ultimately build the foundation for the eros that you have towards your partner. You like their body, you like their shape, but someday they're going to give birth to your child and their shape and their tummy comes out and they don't look the same way. Do you still like and love them? Because you may not be as attracted to what you see, but would you still love this partner that you talk about? These are the conversations we need to start having because we're not having that conversation enough. When your partner maybe gets in trouble, or if, God forbid, your partner gets in an accident and loses the very shape that made you like them, would you still like them at this point? Now, the answer you have to that, you kind of display for us the kind of love or the version of love you had. If it's only the Eros that led you there, you will not be able to stay. But if the Eros was there and then it had foundation with Agape, the unconditional love, and with that Phileo, the friendship, all of that boxed together will make you stay with your partner through thick and thin, through trouble, that all the versions of what we say when we get to the altar and say for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, you can now know that this is the time to live it out with your partner in their worst moment. If you don't redefine love for you, you still get the wrong interpretation of love. You still be deceived. You still be manipulated. You still be tricked in love. And I move forward. Compatibility. I'm actually going to give you a definition of what I call the compatibility bias. Because there is a lot of things that we see in the culture, and based off on this context that I've given you about these three versions of love from the Greek language, it's very important to keep that to mind because that is what I would use to summarize everything I want to say about today's conversation. The compatibility bias is what I see people operate in relationships every now and then. So someone meets someone and they get attracted to someone, because this is the way I look at it. I see someone, I like who I'm looking at, and the attraction brings me close to this person. Now I want to have a conversation with you. And in engaging you in conversation, I'm trying to get to know if we can be friends, if I can phileo you. But now note and mark this, that I don't want to phileo you to marry you. I'm going to allow this to play out naturally. I should not try to force this. But let me talk about this compatibility bias rather. It's very important for you to listen to this. Just because you are compatible with someone chemistry-wise, the chemistry matches, and you call that compatibility, does not mean that you have a healthy relationship. It only means one thing, that you've not actually known that there are other versions of compatibility to walk into. And many people, immediately that compatibility physically has been clicked. They like the way the person looks, or whichever thing makes them attracted to the person, and they feel compatible in a way. They now move ahead and want to foster something with this person, and it arrives at where the Bible says, be not unequally yoked. Now, the word unequally yoked is being yoked disconcordly, like it's not matching. And in the olden days, when they yoked two oxen together, two cows together to plow the farm, they can't bring a strong one with a weak one because the plowing is not going to be straight. So which means your compatibility check should not stop just at the physical level. If you understand what I've said so far about the Eros, the Phileo, and the Agape, it means from the Phileo side, I need to check the compatibility and your capacity for it based off on the friendship we are building. Do you know how to communicate? Because we can't have good friendship without proper communication. Do you know how to have hard conversations, uncomfortable conversations? Can we sit and talk even when you're angry? Can we be healthy so that even when you're angry with me, You don't yell insult at me. You don't insult me. You can still respect me, but then you're not happy with me, but you respect me. If we don't talk about that compatibility, then that's why you meet someone today, they look good and they feel good, and then you move into that relationship and the compatibility bias has deceived you because you forget that no matter how much this person makes you feel or what level of energy this person have with you and whatever amount of chemistry and equation and bond, this is covalent bond, whatever, kinetic, whatever, no matter the amount of what you feel with this person, it will not be able to compensate for the toll that the lack of proper compatibility will have on that relationship and on your life. Because proper compatibility will check out, do you even have, as a Christian, this agape factor? Do you have it? Do you understand agape factor? Unconditional love. Or do you even believe in this subject of unconditional love at all? If you don't believe in it, we are not compatible. I might only deceive myself because my heart wants you because of how you make me feel and how you look, and in an erotic level, you look like what I want. But I could really get into something that would take a toll on my mental health, take a toll on my whole life, and drag my life backwards because I felt we are compatible. And somehow, some people felt they were compatible on the Phileo side, but that compatibility was so biased because they did not really check. It was so meddled with whatever attraction they had on the other side of the Eros that they felt like, because, we talk, but what do you really talk about? And we can have another episode about the conversation and communication thing, because I feel like some people do not have proper conversations. Some people only have talks, which is, we can be gossiping, and gossip between two partners can feel so sweet if you've been in a relationship. But then talking in terms of what is going to be healthy for you is being vulnerable and being transparent about your life personally. Talk about you to me. Into me, see, is when I am able to, which is the intimacy. It's me being able to expose my heart to you, my vulnerability, my transparency, and the things I'm dealing with, I'm struggling with, and my whole life for you to see me as I am. At that point, if you still love me, then I know you're for me. If you see me as I am, if I am naked before you and I'm not ashamed, and you don't make me feel ashamed, then we can work together. But if by the time you know everything about me, or I'm afraid to even let you know everything about me because I don't trust that you have the capacity to handle all that I am, then I don't think I should trust you with my life walking into something with you. I hope this makes sense to someone. So the compatibility bias is when you feel like physical compatibility means you are holistically compatible with someone. Holistically in the sense that you feel like on the friendship side, oh, we are compatible. You feel like on the agape side, oh, their unconditional love will show up. It doesn't show up if it's not there. So we need to check now the capacity people have of the different versions of love that needs to work together to make a relationship work. The next point I want to talk about is marry your friend. We keep hearing that in today's culture because now many people that have been married based on research and statistics, they have discovered that many couples do not like themselves. They are not friends. They don't literally know how to sit and have proper conversation with each other. And because of this, people feel like, oh, I don't think I want that kind of thing. How can I live with someone in the same house and we are keeping malice and we cannot be friends? We don't even talk again. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. And all of that. So like, we don't talk anymore. What's going on? Like, how can we stay there? How can I just stay there? At that point, you're not trying to look for energy outside to have different connections with other friends and all of that. I mean, these things are very nuanced. The point I'm trying to make here, marry your friend could sound very good, but if you don't understand the concept of it, you miss how to apply this. Now, when I hear people use this, I understand what they mean. And I didn't see it from the lens of this Phileo, the friendship kind of love. Don't just feel attracted to someone, add this friendship to it. Marry your friend. That's the way I tend to see it. But in my head, and you may correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like some people feel like in order to marry their friend, they have to walk up to someone they are attracted to and make almost like force the person to become their friend. When something is not wanting to open and you are trying to force it open. But I've come to realize that friendships are not forced. Friendships just happen. It flows. It becomes like a natural thing. And if that person becomes someone that you are friends with and you are attracted to, and you guys have conversations, if God, as a Christian now, the God factor comes in, if God wills it that you marry this person and you want this person and the person wants you, because it has to be very mutual. One person should not make it look like, oh, I love you this way and you don't love me that way and all of that. It has to be mutual. If it's not mutual, then it's not meant to be. But if it is mutual, you feel the same way this person feels about you, and you guys are friends naturally, it's not something that you actually force to happen. Any app that actually has an issue that you try to force open, you actually want to force close at some point, because when your system hangs, I don't know if you've ever seen where they say, give it time, do not lock off, give it time for it to process, and then you're trying to force close it. It becomes hard. And it would be the same thing if you're trying to force something that is not working to work. And the point is, someone meets someone attracted to the person and trying to force friendship out of that. The attraction brings you in, you talk to the person. Don't try to force the friendship. Let it happen. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. The receptibility of conversation and everything will show if that friendship could be built. And then you will know, then let me investigate other things. Do you have the function of agape love in you? Do you have the function of real kindness in you? Are you a real kind person, or you are a pretender? You're only nice. You're only kind to me because you like me. And which means if you don't like me, you won't be kind to me. That's why you display it with other people you don't like. And you talk nasty to the people you don't like. You talk nasty to the people you feel like they are below you. If I meet anybody that talks nasty about people, generally talks nasty about people, I cannot believe you have agape in you. I can't believe you're a benevolent person. I can't believe that you love people genuinely. Because if you're someone that just loves people genuinely, even when people do the worst kind of things, your language about it will be different. You might even be in a place of pitying the person, having compassion, like you don't even know why this person keeps choosing this way or keeps living their life this way, but not in a place of trying to cast them out and expel them and like, oh, this person is rubbish or whatever. That to me, yeah, to some people, I don't want to like judge your heart. It might be you have agape love, but you don't know how to use your words. You don't know the right usage of words in things. But generally, what I'm talking about is this person that you need to investigate in a relationship, dating, before you even get to marriage. And if you're already married, well, I can't speak to that. You need to meet your counselors, sit with professionals and sit to talk about it, about whatever thing you are experiencing after you've already gone in there. So don't just wake up and say, oh, let me leave. Try to see if you people can work things out. But if you're abused, that's not what I'm saying. If you're abused, you have the right to approach the police or anywhere, the human right, and make sure you protect your life. You protect your health. I'm going to stop at that for married people. And then I proceed. Do I need to marry my friend or marry someone I'm deeply attracted to? The thing is, like I said earlier, this whole thing about love is complex. Love is simple and complex at the same time. Because love as Eros is simple to get. And as easy as it is to get, that is how easy it is to lose. Because we walk in, I feel attracted to you, and after a few moments, if I spend time with you or even get to have sex with you, if I'm open to that, then it means after that, that's all. I may not feel the same way about you. You may not look as hot as you are to me again, because the novelty is gone and every other thing that made me desire you the way I did. And that is why that is not a love that has good foundation. So I'll move forward so that I can really track with where I'm going to. Count the cost. There is a cost to love that I feel like some people do not count. Jesus said, which of you that wants to build a tower will not first of all sit down and count the cost? Because if you don't count the cost, you become a laughing stock. And in order not to be a laughing stock, you can find that scripture in Luke chapter 14, verse 28 to 30. In order not to be a laughing stock, you want to count the cost to love. That the cost to love will take a toll on a lot of things on your life. And it will take a toll on you becoming a more responsible person. Just like they say, drink responsibly, you can love responsibly or irresponsibly. Because with love, it's not something you come to toy with somebody's heart. You are dealing with a real human being. You are dealing with a real person here. You don't come and walk in as you like without being prepared for it. and then walking and toy with people's hearts and then destroy the person and then think you can just move out like that. You can't toy with God's child and just live like that. When your results come, go and get it in the school. Anyways, I'm going to leave that at that. So true love is a decision to absorb cost, not a plan to siphon value. So many times people walk in trying to get someone to love them. And in order to get someone to love them, they try to pour love on the person. Not because they genuinely want to pour love on that person, but they are doing it because they want to get the person to love them. And that is wrong. There's a cost to true love. And if it has to be true, yes, the Eros is part of it. You feel attracted to the person and all of that. The Phileo is part of it. You like this person genuinely. It should be. And then the Agape should be the foundation for it. Who built a house without a foundation? You can't just put it on the sand. If you build your house on the sand, it falls. If you build your house on only Eros, the romantic love, the romantic feelings, the chemistry, you get into that compatibility bias that I talked about, and then that relationship would sooner or later crash because there is no base for the value that keeps it. If somebody came to you because of your money, which is still part of the Eros, the erotism can go very far about what gets you attracted to the person. It could be your money made the person feel attracted to you and you think they really love you. It's your money or it's your looks. Like the world has bastardized love that someone can say, I present you beauty and you give me security and attention and affection. Oh, the way I'm looking, my face is very fine. I'm a fine girl with my body and my shape, this and that. So, which means I deserve you to give me security, financial security and attention and whatever. But that's not the basis for healthy love and what I'm talking about today. And I hope that you get the point of what I'm talking about. Some people want to reap the benefits of intimacy without paying the full price for which they could cultivate that intimacy. Intimacy is cultivated. So don't just try to walk in and reap benefit of something you're not ready to cultivate. When you meet someone, you're trying to meet a ready-made person. But nobody is actually ready-made because with you, they might have been worked on with another person. But with you, it will be a new journey to discover you and get to know you and get to know how to align with you. So which means get ready to do the work. Don't let the attraction and the physical thing take your head off of this thing and then you just forget that there is so much more to this than I look at you, oh, I like you. The way she smiles at me every time. And you start, that's not where to go. There's deeper work to be done to love. And of course, the caveat I'm going to give to this is that some of us came from very broken backgrounds of love. Like I said, culture has given us different versions of love that may not align with the healthy version of love. And because of our brokenness, love to one person could look like people pleasing. To the other person, it could look like codependency. To another person, it could look like obsession, which is still on the erotic side. To another person, that what they call love or what they term love could just be infatuation. It's not love. And then on a general term, what they call love is lust. And all of that, you find it in the place of the Phileo and the Eros. Especially that Eros. You find all of these misrepresentation. The Phileo part could just be with the people pleasing of someone just looking for friends, at least someone has finally accepted them, finally have been loved and all of that. I would like to have another episode about this, but I would really love to get your feedback on this and your real questions. If you do watch this, if you have watched to this point and you have a real question you want to post to me, there is a link, the email of Godly Conversations on the show notes. You can hit that email me your question. I wouldn't have to call your name out, but I would like to sit and talk about that question for real. And if you don't want me to talk about it live, I would like to answer the question directly through email. Email me, please, if you are serious about this and if you've watched to this point and you have a real question. I want to be helpful and I want this to be helpful to you. I'm not just sitting here to talk because I want to talk. It takes a lot of work to produce this, to sit and to arrange and get everything out. I'm doing this because I want to reach you and my heart is for you to be healthy and have healthy relationships. And I love you. So genuinely, I need you to get what I've said. Because of our brokenness and where we come from, we might disguise what is not love for love. That is why we need to experience true love and count the cost. The cost of having to move with someone, live with someone will take a toll on you wanting and having the need to change, having the need to be healthy, having the need to become a better person. Love would call for that. Love would call for you to become a healthier person than you were. Love would call for you, if you want to love your partner unconditionally, definitely you have to be healthy. And you have to be healthy for yourself. Jesus, through Paul in Ephesians 5 said, a man that does not love his wife does not love himself. So which means, if you don't know how to love you, and you don't know you are loved, whatever thing you're doing, looking for love in a relationship, is going to fail. The first place love starts should start with you. Do you know God loves you? Have you even received the love of God? Do you love yourself? Don't walk out and go to meet someone to love you when you've not first loved yourself. Even if the person genuinely loves you, you're going to waste their time. Because you're going to take a toll. Your brokenness and your dysfunction will take a toll on that person's life. I don't know why I'm passionate about this, but please work on that personal part of counting the cost. Count the cost before you want to go and love. And if you are just a manipulator, then if you're watching this, desist from that. If you're a player and you're watching this, desist from that. If you're not genuine about someone, don't introduce relationship talk with them. You should be a real believer who just loves people. You agape people. You are kind to people generally. And then when you meet your partner, that kindness should be seen. It shouldn't be something you only do outside. And then on the inside in your marriage or in your relationship, you're not like you're trying to be tough so that if you're too nice, they will take you for granted. Are you okay? Like, I'm sorry for using the word, but then check again. Are you really okay? Cause you must not be okay in your version of interpretation of, if I'm kind to my partner, they're going to take me for granted. But you're kind to everybody outside. And when you come home, you become a lion. You're not even the Lion of Judah. And you are here. Anyways, I wanted to say something, but I'm going to let that be. I'm going to give you these two references as it relates to this conversation. Jacob was someone that loved Rachel. And you can go read that story in Genesis chapter 29, verse 18 through 20. He loved Rachel so much so in the pidgin language, that he worked for her. He sacrificed for her. He worked 7 years for the father for her. And then, after that 7 years, Rachel's father deceived him. But because he loved her so much, he worked extra 7 years, 14 years, and it felt like only a few days. That must have been love that he had for her. And even though I'm not saying that Jacob was a perfect human, he was not. He was a very broken guy. Because his brokenness and dysfunction did not keep his family together. Now, he then loved Joseph extraordinary because of the endearment he had towards Joseph. Why? Joseph was the son of Rachel, the woman he loved. And this gave me a peek into something in marriage and in relationships. That when a man loves the woman very well, the love for his children will be extraordinary. When a man truly loves his wife, the love for his children will be extraordinary. For the man that does not truly love his wife, even though he's trying to love his children, he's just trying to fulfill responsibility. Truly, if they really check, yes, he loves his children, but that love is just like a mere love of, I have a responsibility for this kid. Not like he really cares. Jacob made a tunic for Joseph because he loved him. But you have to trace that love to its origin. It's because he loved his mom. That's why he loved this boy that much. And he also loved Benjamin as much. Forget that he was the last born, but because of the love he asked for the mom. Another scene I'm going to show you with Jacob is that when Jacob was to face Esau and Esau's army, he thought that Esau would attack him. You know what Jacob did? Go and study the story in Genesis chapter 33, verse 1 and 2. He took all of his children and lined them in a line. Who went first? The children of the servant, and then Leah's children and Leah, and then Rachel and Joseph were behind, were the last in the rank. What does that represent? If Esau was to start destroying Jacob's family, at least Rachel and Joseph would have a chance to run. So love looks like safety. Love looks like that person that really, really cares and wants you to be safe. And Jacob portrayed that even when he was very imperfect and broken. Then we cannot miss the part and now call what is not true love, and make true love looks like just feelings, and make true love is real actions, not just feelings. When this guy, Amnon, felt love towards his sister, it's still called love, but the end of it was really exposed that he did not love his sister at all. Because at the end of the day, after he slept with her, he threw her out like nothing, and scripture records in 2 Samuel 13, verse 15, that the love he had for her, the hate he had for her rather, was greater than the love he had for her at first, which means he never loved her. And if you've ever experienced someone that claimed they loved you at first, and then later, when things go wrong, they hate you, that person never loved you. And of course, it's nuanced. I know you want to say something that, oh, you don't know what they did to me and all of that. But even whatever thing the person did to you, there's something about your heart that if you genuinely love that person, you still love them. And that is what will even hurt you the more, because I still love this idiot. And you get what I mean. But if you really love someone, you will not hate them, even after you have a fallout. But in this Amnon case, the guy was a fool, because he didn't even count the cost for love. Had it been he did, he would have known that he didn't love his sister. He was only lusting after his sister because the lady was beautiful. So what did he operate in? He was operating on Eros. And many people, many guys and ladies included, are operating on Eros in today's culture because of what the media and the culture has bombarded us with. It's all about Eros. It's all about, oh, your body, your appearance, your this, your that. And that is not the healthy version of love. I don't have time to continue saying this to the end, but I'm going to close it with saying that 1 Corinthians 13 says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstances. This love that Paul talked about is called the Agape love. This is the foundation for every true relationship, to have a healthy love. Yes, you build it. You're attracted to the person. Look for the foundation. Is it built? And count the cost. It will cost you, because being patient is not a feeling. Being kind is not a feeling. Being kind is not being nice. You can be a nice guy, a nice person, but are you really kind? Because if this person does not do right, would you still be kind to them? And that is where kindness is tested. Even if they don't like you, would you still like them? Because you love them. It's different from Phileo, which is my friend. If my friend have a fallout with me and they don't want to be friends again, I can't force them. I let them be. I might still love them, but I need to let them be. And all of that. I need to end this episode here because of the time. And we can have a part 2. And that would depend on your feedback. That would depend on what you have to say about today's conversation. Let me know what you have to say about today's conversation and put it in the comments. Reach out through the email. Drop your questions. And I would love to interact more with you. And I love you so much. See you in the next episode of Godly Conversations podcast. I hope you've been blessed today. Thank you so much for watching this conversation. I love you so much. Take a moment and share with me what stood out for you in today's episode of Godly Conversations podcast. It is going to help someone who is listening and maybe going through the comments to relate with what they are learning also. And I want you to do one other thing for me. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. That is your way of supporting this podcast. And one more thing, I want to see you in the next episode, just right here.